So, have you ever thought about what a blueprint for Africa's next 100 years might look like? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're looking at the proposed One Africa Constitution.
A huge topic.
It really is. We're going to unpack some pretty fascinating new information, and it's all coming from a YouTube video transcript. It's called Breaking, the new One Africa Constitution, What They Didn't Tell You.
Right, from that Supreme Africa Breaking News channel.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to explore what this Constitution is all about. How does it plan to unite such an incredibly diverse continent? And what are the sort of challenges and maybe the hopes tied up in actually making it happen?
Okay.
Okay, let's get into it.
Well, it's interesting because this whole idea, it steps right into a question that's apparently been sort of haunting the African Union's legal minds for, 15 years?
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah. How do you actually unify this vast, varied continent? It's historically quite profound, what they're attempting here.
And you really see why it's such a challenge when you look at Africa now. The source calls it a beautiful mess, which I think captures it well.
Yeah, it does.
You've got these really powerful ideas, unity, Pan-Africanism, progress, really strong stuff. But then the reality is, 54 countries, over 5 different systems of governance running things, and just contrasts everywhere. The source breaks it down. You've got about 31 countries that claim democracy. I think Ghana, Kenya, South Africa.
Zambia, Botswana.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then you also have authoritarian military governments, places like Egypt, Chad, Mali, Sudan, Burkina Faso, all seen coups or military rule just in the last 5 years or so.
Very different picture.
Totally different. And then throw in the monarchies like Morocco, Eswatini, Lesotho. They've got kings, different levels of parliament involved.
Another layer.
Plus, these hybrid regimes, Uganda, Cameroon, Zimbabwe, they hold elections, sure, but power is still really concentrated.
Yeah, centralized.
And you can't forget the fragile states, Somalia, Libya, parts of the Sahel, still dealing with, warlords, contested borders, decentralized power. It's complex.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that patchwork, well, it brings us right back to the core problem, doesn't it?
How do you write one constitution for all of that?
Exactly. That's the central question this whole project is trying to answer.
So, how did they approach it, this monumental task?
Well, they started something called Project Mishikamano.
Nishikamano, Kiswahili for unity, right?
That's the one. Since 2022, apparently there's been this select group meeting deep inside the AU chambers. Almost secretively, it sounds like.
And it's not politicians. That's interesting.
No, that's the key thing. It's
Yeah.
legal scholars, military strategists, historians, political theorists from 29 different African nations. The source calls them the brightest African minds.
Wow. Any names mentioned?
Yeah, a few. Dr. Wanji Kumboya, a Kenyan constitutional expert, apparently helped draft Kenya's 2010 constitution.
Okay, experience then.
Seems so. Also, a General Umoja, retired AU peace commander, now into civilian governance, and Professor Timels, an Ethiopian philosopher.
The one with the quote.
Yeah, the one who asked, can Africa be one while its people live under 100 legal cages? Pretty provocative.
That really makes you think. So what did this group, these brightest minds, come up with? What kind of document?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. They didn't go for a rigid Western-style constitution.
Oh.
No. They envisioned a living constitution. That's the term they use.
A living constitution. What does that mean, practically?
It means it's designed to be flexible, adaptable, rooted in African principles. Specifically Ubuntu, that idea of interconnectedness, community. Grounded in sovereignty, yes, but crucially made to evolve over time. It's like saying Africa will define its own path, and that path might change.
Okay, that's a fundamentally different approach. So what's the core proposal of this One Africa Constitution then? What's it actually setting out to do?
Right. The main goal, set for a launch on February 26, 2026, is to establish the One Africa government.
A single government.
As a supranational entity. Think. Above the national governments, but working with them.
Okay.
It proposes dividing Africa into regional states, but the source stresses this isn't about erasing countries. It's more about streamlining cooperation, making unity work better.
Right. Administrative regions, maybe?
Sort of. Yeah. Alongside that, One Africa citizenship, a One Africa passport, a One Continental Parliament.
What about existing governments? Mayors, local councils?
They stay. But on the big issues, trade, corruption, elections, defense, human rights, They'll be integrated under continental law.
So kind of like different layers of governance.
Exactly. The source has a great line for it. It's like how the European Union works.
Oh, with more fire. I saw that. What does that more fire bit imply, do you think?
Well, looking at the bigger picture, it suggests more than just guidelines, maybe real enforcement power. A more assertive, unified stance on those big challenges we talked about.
Tackling things like corruption head-on, continent-wide.
Potentially, yeah. Dealing with systemic issues at a scale that individual countries just can't manage alone. It's about creating a new layer of governance with teeth.
That fire sounds needed, especially when you think about bringing together, say, monarchies and democracies. How does the Constitution handle that kind of diversity? Surely you can't just impose one system.
No, and that's where the design gets quite clever, actually.
I thought so.
It sets democracy as the sort of default for continental matters. So presidents, parliaments, civil society, they're all involved at that level.
Okay.
But, and this is crucial, it explicitly allows for cultural autonomy within nations.
Meaning
Morocco, Eswatini. They can keep their monarchies for their internal affairs. The Constitution doesn't interfere with that.
Ah, okay. So internal tradition is respected.
Exactly. And they're even creating a new body, a Council of Sovereigns. This is where monarchs, traditional chiefs, spiritual leaders can sit alongside presidents.
In what capacity do they get a vote on laws?
Purely advisory, the source says. But it gives them a formal voice at the AU level. It's about being inclusive, not forcing everyone into the same box.
Right, respecting the local context.
Precisely.
Yeah.
There's a quote from an AU diplomat, Mama Pen Africa. This Constitution respects the soil it walks on. We're not killing traditions. We're aligning them with the dream.
Aligning them with the dream. I like that. That distinction between internal matters and continental alignment seems key.
Absolutely vital for it to have any chance, I think.
Okay, so this is a massive shift. It obviously won't happen instantly. How are they planning to roll it out?
Yeah, they've got a pretty detailed three-phase plan. It's not a big bang approach.
Sensible. What's phase one?
Phase one is harmonization. That runs roughly 2025 into 2026.
Harmonization sounds like getting laws in sync.
Pretty much. National parliaments start aligning some of their laws with agreed continental frameworks. Focuses on anti-corruption, trade, labor rights, digital policy.
The big economic and governance stuff.
Right. And importantly, all 54 nations are meant to adopt these reforms. Plus, presidents sign a One Africa Sovereign Agreement. Sort of the formal buy-in.
Okay, that's phase one, then.
Phase two is integration, planned for 2026 to 2028.
Integration? That sounds like things get more connected.
Yeah, this is when citizens might start getting dual ID as their national one plus a continental one.
Interesting.
And they plan to introduce something called the Afro digital currency.
A farold, a continental currency.
Digital one, yeah. To be used alongside local currencies. The idea is probably easier cross-border trade, maybe less reliance on outside currencies.
Ambitious. What else in phase two?
A unified AU military command for border security, peacekeeping, a joined-up defense approach.
Okay, harmonization, then integration. What's the final phase?
Phase three is consolidation, and this is a longer one running from 2028 maybe up to 2035.
Consolidation, so making it all stick.
That's the idea. Full rollout of the Continental Passport. The One Africa Parliament starts getting real legislative power.
Ah, so it becomes more than just a talking shop.
Exactly. And local courts start referring high-level cases up to a One Africa Supreme Court.
Wow. That's a decade-long process, minimum.
It is. And if you frame it historically, it makes sense. This isn't just a new law. It's presented as a generational project.
Building a continent-wide system brick by brick.
Right. Incremental. Allowing time for adaptation, integration. It shows strategic patience, which you'd need for something this transformative.
And there's always a but, isn't there? The source title mentions what they didn't tell you. So what's the unspoken part? The resistance.
Ah, yes, the pushback. The source definitely gets into that. It suggests there's significant debate and, well, resistance bubbling under the surface.
From who?
It suggests some countries are dragging their feet. Some elites are, frankly, terrified.
Right, terrified.
Because the core idea, according to the source, is that this Constitution is a direct attack on systemic corruption.
Yeah.
It aims to empower ordinary peoples, not just the state apparatus. It wants to strip away that impunity, where leaders could hide behind sovereign immunity.
So if this passes...
The source is pretty blunt. The days of stealing with impunity are over. That's a direct quote. So yeah, you can see why some might be plotting to quietly block it, even while smiling at AU meetings.
That really puts the fire aspect into perspective. It's not just about unity, it's about accountability.
Exactly. And that raises the big question. How will those entrenched interests react when faced with a system designed to dismantle their protection? It's a power struggle.
A battle of wills, as you said. But despite that resistance, the Constitution promises some really significant new rights for ordinary citizens, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Rights that could genuinely change lives.
Like what specifically?
Okay, number one, the right to continental movement.
Meaning?
Any African can live, work, build a life in any member country. Imagine that freedom.
Wow. Okay, what else?
The right to access AU legal defense. So if your own government violates your rights,
you can appeal higher up to an AU court.
That's the idea. A new layer of legal protection. Then, the right to vote in one Africa elections, no matter where you happen to live on the continent.
A truly continental democracy, in theory.
And finally, the right to information. This one's interesting. Governments would have to publish real-time budget data, open for every citizen to see.
Real-time budget data, that's transparency on steroids.
You could say that. And taken together, these, they fundamentally shift to the balance, don't they, between the individual and the state.
More power to the people.
More power, more accountability, more freedom. That's the promise.
Yeah, but it's a huge promise. And, it's easy to get lost in the legal language, but the source also shared some funnier, more human moments from the drafting committee.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, apparently, early on, a king from Central Africa just asked straight up, so if I join this one Africa, do I still get to be king?
Huh. What was the answer?
Yes, but you'll now answer to the people.
Ooh, nice. Direct.
Right. And then there was a Nigerian MP shouting, how can one ID work across Africa? Even my wife has 3 names and 2 passports.
Okay, that's relatable chaos.
And a youth representative from Zimbabwe apparently said, if my president refuses the Constitution, I'll just use the new Constitution to sue him.
Old.
The source says there was laughter, but also that the truth of it kind of hit hard. Shows the potential power, right?
Definitely. It grounds the whole thing in real-world implications.
And those feelings seem echoed by citizens, too. The source shared reactions. From Lagos, someone said, I don't care if it's 1 passport or 10, just let me open a business in Rwanda without begging immigration.
Yeah, practical frustrations.
From Nairobi, I want to marry my girlfriend in Kinshasa and bring her to Kenya without papers. This constitution better allow that.
Yeah.
Simple human desires.
Cross-border life.
In Accra, the feeling was more historical. We've had laws written by colonizers for 100 years. It's time for our laws, made by us, for us.
That sense of ownership. Post-colonial aspiration.
And someone in Johannesburg. If this works, I swear I'll apply for 1 Africa citizenship and never look back.
Yeah.
Just ready for something new.
Wow. Real hope there.
Yeah. And then, just for fun, the source had a comedy corner.
Oh.
An Ethiopian guy joking, this constitution is too good, are you sure it wasn't written by Wakanda?
All right.
A Ghanaian girl asking, can I sue my ex with this new constitution because he stole my heart and ghosted me?
Probably not covered, but I like her thinking.
And a Bodo writer in Kampala, very pragmatically, if it doesn't bring fuel prices down, it's just another poem.
Keeping it real. Fuel prices matter.
They do.
There.
But all those anecdotes, the funny ones, the serious ones, they really show something, don't they?
Yeah, they absolutely do. They show that behind all the legal structures and grand plans.
It's about people's lives.
Exactly. Real hopes, real frustrations, practical needs. It connects the big picture right down to the individual level.
So wrapping this up then, we've taken this deep dive into the One Africa Constitution. It's incredibly ambitious, trying to bridge this huge diversity, set up new governance, give citizens real power. What does it all mean for you listening to this?
Well, I think one of the most striking things, looking broadly, is just the sheer courage of it.
How so?
The courage to imagine a shared future that's built from within, on African principles, like Ubuntu.
Right.
Not just borrowing or adapting external models, which, as that person from Accra noted, has been the pattern for so long.
So a move towards something genuinely written by Africans for Africans.
That seems to be the driving force, a fundamental shift in perspective.
Yeah. And it comes back to that idea of building a single home, but one with many different rooms. Respecting the traditions, like the monarchies, but aligning everyone towards that shared dream. It's fascinating.
It is.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with, we talked about the political resistance, the fear of losing power or impunity, but thinking beyond that, what other challenges do you think will be the most significant in actually uniting a continent this huge, this varied, under one living, evolving document? What keeps that dream alive day